What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I am here to talk about the underrated nightmare matchups for every single UFC champion. Now, I made a video about 10 months ago, bro. I made a video similar to this about 9 months ago. Pretty solid video, if I do say so myself. You know I dropped a like on that shit. You better have dropped a fucking like on it. But in that video, I said things like Volk would get the belt back at featherweight. This was before the Lopez or any of those fights got made. So this was a pretty risky prediction by me. Pretty crafty fucking pick. Let's just say that, okay? I got that right. I said Imavov would be a future title challenger. Not a Super Bowl prediction, but there was some hits. There was a couple of misses. Listen, I may or may not have said Joaquin Buckley would be champion. Okay, we all have mistakes. We all make mistakes. But today, I'm here to correct those. I will be giving you guys the underrated nightmare matchup for every single UFC champion right now that nobody talks about it, lads. Nobody talks about it. And they have a very solid chance to become the champion if they get to fight for the belt, all right? Let's get into this. Some of these guys are ranked. Some of these guys are unranked. I think these are all pretty solid picks, but you got to hear me out on them. You got to hear me out on these takes, all right? Starting off, flyweight division. Charles Johnson, dude. Now, yes, this is mainly because he knocked out my boy Joshua Van. He fluked Joshua Van, okay? But Charles Johnson has pretty good takedown defense. I'm pretty sure it's like, what's the percentage of takedown defense that this individual has? Yeah, pretty good takedown defense. I'm not going to say anything about that, but he has very solid takedown defense. He can scramble quite well. We know that he has nasty knockout power as well. Knocking out Lona Kavanagh, knocking out Joshua Van. His losses, some of them are very controversial decisions, especially recently. He should really be on like a 7 or 8 fight win streak at this point in his career. He only has losses to solid level contenders in the UFC. And I think when you make videos like this, it's very easy to just MMA math your way out of it and be like, yeah, dude, this guy's not beating fucking Pantoja, man. He lost to Ode Osbourne. But when you just look at a matchup 1-to-1, that's what this video is about. And I feel like Charles Johnson being so durable, never being finished before in his entire MMA career. He has very solid takedown defense, long, rangy striker, good cardio. He can show up on short notice and win. He can show up on a full camp and really push the pace on people. I think that Charles Johnson is one of the most underrated, dangerous contenders at 125. And yes, I'm picking Joshua Van to beat Pantoja. So I feel like this has even more like storyline to it. Like, imagine Joshua Van when he wins the belt, not if he wins the belt, when he wins the belt. Joshua Van wins the belt, and then we get Johnson versus Van 2 for the title. I think there's something to that. I really do. I need like a gold fist here now that I have my face cam. But yeah, I think Charles Johnson, like I said, high takedown defense, long, rangy, good frame to defend takedowns and keep his balance. Really nasty knockout power. We've seen that in the past couple of fights. And very, very crafty, very experienced. He's fought guys like Brandon Royval, Joshua Van. So I think that Charles Johnson and Muhammad Makayev as well survived against him. So I think that Charles Johnson's durability and all that stuff, he's a very underrated pick here in the flyweight division. Now, this next one, bro, this is when I go full. This whole video is like such a fake hardcore thing. I don't give a fuck, dude. This is just something I've been wanting to talk about for a while. I've been thinking about some of these takes, and I think this is a good way to frame it. This next one, you gotta hear me out, bro. Merab, secret nightmare matchup in the Bantamweight division. Raoni Barcelos, dude. Tell your friends, bro. This is the moment in the video where you guys get to go in real life if you do that and talk to your friends if you have any. And be like, dude, I don't know, man. Raoni Barcelos, Loki's a problem at 135. This is where I come in and help you, okay? Because Raoni Barcelos, the MMA, casuals, they're not gonna tell you this. Raoni Barcelos has 86% takedown defense. Raoni Barcelos is low-key one of the most dangerous grapplers in the 135 division. Nobody's gonna tell you that. They're not gonna bring this up. They're trying to get this guy beat. They tried to feed him to Peyton Talbot. It didn't work. They tried to feed him to Cody Garbrandt. What happened in that fight? Exactly. And now they're trying to get rid of him against Ricky Simone. And I feel like when you actually look at Raoni Barcelos, he's like a Walmart Merab, dude. He's like the Temu version of Merab. Crazy takedown defense, 85% takedown defense. He pushes the pace like a marauder. He low-key can kind of rock you up and tag you up a little bit. He did get flatlined by Umar. Okay, and maybe that's why we're not, glazing the shit out of Barcelos. But outside of that fight, and by the way, Umar does have decent power. Like, he did rock Merab. Merab obviously rocked him at the end, but I think Umar kind of had Merab a little bit more rocked in that fight. But outside of that loss to Umar Nurmagomedov, he's shown that he can consistently grapple and scramble well and out-grapple people over 3 rounds with lots of experience in the UFC. Very underrated good wins in the UFC as well. Peyton Talbot, that's going to age extremely well. That win over Peyton Talbot. Low-key dominated him in the grappling as well. And we saw in the fight after that and before that, that Peyton Talbot is not like... I know the meme is like Peyton Talbot doesn't know how to rep, but whatever. There's a lot of shit about him. But he is actually really good. So for Barcelos to fucking mog him, very good win. Cody Garbrandt, past his prime, but still decent win to have on the resume. Chris Gutierrez by submission. I bet you didn't fucking know that. Said Nurmagomedov. I mean, this guy is one of the most underrated guys at 135. He has very high output on the feet. He's shown a pretty solid chin outside of the Umar fight. Very high level grappling in BJJ. And the last thing I'll say about Barcelos, and why I feel like he's like an underrated nightmare matchup. Maybe he goes on a little run to the belt. If you could think of how badly the UFC didn't want Merab to be champion, imagine Dana White if this fucking old head goes on a title run, dude. Like, we know the UFC did not want Merab to be champion. They were trying to get him beat. They did not want to have to promote this guy whatsoever. Like, Dana White was sitting in the fucking crowd, like, when Merab was up, guys, I'm so happy, guys. I win the belt, and guys, this me on the sphere, guys, and I'm so happy, guys. Let's go, guys. I'm so happy. Dana White wanted to fucking hire up an assassin straight away. He literally made the barricade fall on Merab at fucking UFC 316. Dana White does not want Merab as champion. Imagine Dana White if Barcelos became champion, dude. What's the fucking question? What's the kid's name? Barcelos? I can't fucking hear you back there. What did I think of his performance tonight? He beat who are they talking about? Barcelos? Yeah, I mean, yeah, the guy did what he had to do. Not a barn burner. Not exactly a barn burner. Yeah, we usually don't make the fights, but we're looking to make what are we making? Yeah, we're looking to make him versus O'Malley and Sandhagen in a 2-on-1 steel cage match next week. Yeah, Dana White does not want this guy to be the champion, and the MMA casuals don't want you to realize that Barcelos is actually a very sneaky bad matchup for Merab. Great takedown defense, blockhead, marauder, Chad. He's got the chin, he's got the pace, he's got the durability, he's got the fight IQ from being a crafty vet in the game. Every single thing you need, every single intangible, Raoni Barcelos low-key fits that. So I'm going to throw him here as the bantamweight pick. Let's move on to the featherweight division, and this may be a little bit of recency bias taking over, but I think Steve Garcia is like a fucking dark horse at 145. I don't think that's a controversial opinion, but I'm just going to stop doubting this guy. I'm sorry, but the thing about Steve Garcia that pisses me off, and it's not even his fault, dude. He just looks like an NPC. Like, the reason I feel like we've never been like, dude, Steve Garcia is coming for the belt. Well, some of you guys have, because any weird-looking jobber in the Apex goes on a run. There's an account made for them. People are in the comments, dude, we are coming for the belt. Steve Garcia, we are coming for the belt, right? We all do that, okay? But Steve Garcia, there's something about this, man. He literally just looks like a fucking training partner in UFC 5. Does this guy just not look like he's supposed to be in the Apex for the rest of his life? The fact that he's on a fucking 7-fight win streak, sliming people out. And by the way, this fight against Obama was hilarious because David Onama's going out there fucking trying to be all fancy. And Yusuf Zalal, this little chipmunk in the corner, nice, man, nice. While Onama's just doing nothing, getting tagged. And Zalal's just in the corner, nice, man. Nice, dude, nice. While he's just getting fucking chinned. I don't understand what the fuck they were thinking in that corner. It's such a Factory X moment of just like, dude, you need to go out there on your X and Y's and your Z's, bro. You need to be going out there, switch your stances, bro. You need to be touching that lead hand and just getting chinned. Like, just overthinking it so hard. But Steve Garcia looked good. He's on a huge win streak. He's got nasty KO power. And another reason that I find Steve Garcia so dangerous is he's just a fucking genetic mutant, bro. Like, I literally wrote that down, bro. He's a fucking mutant, dude. His reach and his frame at 145 is like, not full-blown Sean Woodson. I'm not calling up fucking Area 51 on this guy, but he's pretty fucking close to that. Like, he's kind of got like a little bit of that Sean Woodson frame, but not extreme. And he's got way more KO power. He's got KO power. He's got good survivability from bad positions. We've seen him kind of get taken down, rocked, and then survive and come back and win. I think that's a good thing to look for in a future contender. And one thing that I think benefits him greatly, especially because I don't think he's going to get to fight Volk. You know, mate, fucking Volk's gonna be out there against fucking Lopez in the rematch. Boom, boom. Fucking popping the jab on him. I think if either Lopez or Evloev ends up as the next champion of the division, or maybe Lerone Murphy as well, Steve Garcia's ground and pound is extremely dangerous. He's got really nasty elbows. He kind of reminds me of like a Sergey Pavlovich, where he's not gonna one-shot knock you out, but if he rocks you and follows up with ground and pound, you're basically cooked, right? And that's what this guy's really good at, especially against someone like Lopez or Evloev. Lopez, he likes to play in the guard. He likes to look for submissions. Sometimes he spends time on his back. I could see Garcia just dropping bombs on him and low-key rocking him. Evloev, you know, holds good positions, doesn't really do a lot of damage, doesn't really look for submissions. Sometimes gets reversed, ends up on the bottom. I can see Garcia just suddenly just dropping bombs on elbows, starting to hurt Evloev and do damage. And that can be the difference between winning and losing a close decision against both of these guys, because we've seen that Steve Garcia, he's got the durability, he's improved his cardio, he's got a huge reach and frame advantage over basically everyone at 145. He's got nasty KO power, and he just makes good decisions. Like I know he looks like a fucking NPC from career mode that you bring in to spar with, that low-key chins you in sparring before you fight for the, you know, before you defend your belt against Mark Hunt for the 15th time. But he is dangerous, and he is kind of a dark horse. So I'm going to shout out Steve Garcia. We will be putting some respect on this guy's name. By the way, you're not fighting Max Holloway, brother. Yeah, guys, I want to fight Max Holloway. I want to get my chance. Yeah, cool, man. I want to get my chance with Sydney Sweeney too, bro. It's not happening. All right? You're getting fucking Yusuf Zalal in the Apex next week, kid. Be grateful, all right? Let's move on to the lightweight division, and this one is not like a dark horse, like, oh, nobody's really talking about this guy. I think you guys know deep down who this is, bro. Paddy the fucking body, lad. I'm fucking starving. Know what I mean? Like, nobody talks about it, lads. Paddy Pimblett, I'm sorry. I'm never changing my mind on this. Paddy Pimblett, I feel like is top 3 in terms of chances to beat Ilia Topuria. Why do I just feel like Paddy Pimblett just has plot armor against Ilia? It's the fact that when they were beefing back in December, don't lie, most of you were on team Paddy Pimblett. Most of you were like, yo, who's this Ilia guy? This guy's fucking irrelevant. Now he's on this crazy run. Now the roles have kind of reversed, but both of them have kind of risen up the division. I'm sorry. I just feel like Paddy Pimblett just has something. Like, I can't even explain what it is. This is genuinely, like, I know people make fun of, oh, Bedtime just picks off vibes. I don't, by the way. I don't. I'm one of the best predictors on YouTube, all right? Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your fucking mouth, all right? But this is a straight up vibes pick, dude. This is straight up plot armor. I'm not even, you got me. You got me. You fucking got me. But I can't be the only one, dude. I cannot be the only one who can just see Paddy Pimblett, like, I can't even explain, just looking for a kick and just accidentally missing a giant nuke from Ilia and just being like doing his little thing, or just eating a fucking overhand and just being like doing some emote on Ilia. I can really see Paddy Pimblett just eating an overhand, just emoting on Ilia, throwing some fucking front kicks that low-key off-balance him, throwing some oblique kicks, some leg kicks, maybe getting a takedown at the end of the first round on Ilia. I really feel like it's either him, Max, or Armin that has the best chance at 155. Max Holloway was doing very well before the finish against Ilia Topuria. You're not allowed to give Max any credit at all for anything that happened in that fight because he lost. You're only allowed to say he got dominated by Ilia, even though Max was doing extremely well in that matchup. Better than Volk, better than Charles Oliveira, easily better than basically anyone else except for fucking Bryce Mitchell somehow. Even then, better than Bryce Mitchell. You know what I mean? Max Holloway literally did the best by a mile against Ilia compared to everyone else. And there's people that'll be like, oh, bro, Josh Emmett. I'm sorry, but surviving to a decision where you got 50-43, you got your ass whooped. You got your fucking ass whooped. That's not as impressive as you're going neck and neck with Ilia. You're tagging him up. You're landing good shots. You get back up from being taken down. You know what I mean? Then you get caught and you get finished at the end of the third round. You know what I mean? Like, it's a back and forth fight. Ilya's doing good. Max is doing good. Max had him limping out of there. Like, that's a close fight to me, right? I think Arman Sarukian has an interesting style, and I want to see him wrestle with Ilia. But I feel like Paddy Pimblett is just the dark horse. Like, Paddy Pimblett is just the guy. I would pick Ilia to beat Arman. I would be like, yeah, you know what? I think Ilya's going to beat him. You know, I'd pick Ilia to beat Max in a rematch. I'd say it's close, but Ilia wins. I'd even pick Ilia pretty calmly to beat Islam Makhachev. I feel like Ilia has kind of, you know, utilized aura-based gaslighting into making me think he just beats Islam easily. I don't know. It's just the fact that he's pulled this he's ducking me move on Islam, and it's low-key working. I feel like he KOs Islam, but for some reason, I'm just not ready to be like, yeah, he destroys Paddy Pimblett. Maybe I'm crazy. I just feel like Paddy Pimblett, based on the plot armor, based on the long range kicks and the grappling, I think he's a sneaky, weirdly bad matchup for Ilya. I don't know. I can't explain it. I hope some of you guys understand. Yeah, I think Paddy Pimblett is low-key the guy at lightweight that I want to see fight Ilya the most. I want to see this fight the most. This is the most intriguing fight to me, just based on the vibes and the storyline, dude. I can't even deny it, all right? Let's move on to the welterweight division, okay, man? Who am I going to say has the best chance of fluking the GOAT, JDM? Who do I think has, you know, like, listen, I'm not picking anybody to beat JDM right now at welterweight, bro. You could literally, the only person I'm picking is you bring back Prime GSP, and I'm going, you know what, GSP by split decision, okay? No bias, no no glaze, dude, but I'm gonna say Shavkat Rakhmonov, dude, and you guys know, you know how much this hurts me. But Shavkat Rakhmonov, it was between him or Ian Gary. And I'm sorry, bro, I would much rather give credit to Shavkat Rakhmonov than the fake hardcores that are like, dude, Ian Gary low-key beats JDM, dude. No, he doesn't. No, he fucking doesn't, dude. And if he did, it would be by the most, like, running away, pitter-patter decision. I don't even think JDM would let that slide. That's the thing, is like, Ian Gary, I see that fight with JDM, which these fake, I don't know why people latch on to Ian Gary. Like, these fake hardcores are like, they hate on Ian Gary. They never pick him. They swore up and down Prates was going to KO him. They swore Shavkat was going to destroy him, right? They literally were picking Jeff Neal to beat this guy. But in the same breath, they're like, dude, Ian Gary destroys JDM, bro. I don't know why people hate on JDM so much. Like, they have this weird bias against him. But Ian Gary, if he fought JDM, this is what he would do. He would go into the press. I'm going to go out there and absolutely box the bleeding head off JDM. I'm going to dance around him, right? Then he'd go out there, run around, do nothing, throw some little pitter-patter jabs, throw some little head kicks. JDM would fucking slip that shit, do some little emotes on him. And then Ian Gary would shoot a takedown. He would maybe get back control. I think he would fail a rear naked choke or something like that, end up on the bottom, and JDM would put him out with elbows on ground and pound. I just think JDM is way too good at finishing people, way too durable, way too tough, way too good at scrambling to be smudged and held down by someone like Ian Gary that has no power whatsoever. The reason I picked Shavkat here is because he has solid boxing. He has a good jab. He was out jabbing Ian Gary, out striking him basically in the boxing. Got hit with a couple of leg kicks, but that's not a big factor against JDM. He does have the blockhead durability. Okay, I know I hate on him for the Jeff Neal fight where people are like, you got to understand my hate of, you got to understand me here, bro. The reason why I make fun of the people that glaze the fuck out of this guy is because he doesn't deserve a title shot. He never fucking did. He doesn't have a top 5 win ever. Literally, Ben Askren has a top 5 win and this fucking guy doesn't, but people act like this guy's a guaranteed future champion, okay? His best win is fucking Wonder Boy, who Gilbert Burns already beat. I'm sorry. The second best win after that is Jeff Neal. Oh my god. And he was getting fucking he was breakdancing in the octagon, getting rocked by Jeff Neal. Prates just destroyed him. I'm sorry, I just say it like it is. But he does have good striking, he has good boxing. He does have crazy, like, durability, a good chin. He's a blockhead. We got to give him props for that. And he does have the smudge and grappling capabilities. And I think he's a little bit stronger and more physical than Ian Gary. And I don't think he would do dumb shit like jumping for a leg or, you know, jumping on the back. I think he would be a little bit more patient and just smudge JDM if he was to win. So I think that Shavkat Rakhmonov, he just has a better chance of winning a decision against JDM and surviving damage and not getting rocked or chinned as badly as Ian Gary, who would probably get rocked and dropped by JDM. And like I said, I could see JDM reversing position and finishing him with elbows on the ground, similar to where Prates almost had him finished, whereas I don't see that happening to Shavkat. So I would say Shavkat is a sneaky nightmare matchup. Same with Usman, but I feel like he's a little bit more chinny on the feet and not as good in the boxing. So I think Shavkat is the pick here, all right? Let's move on to the middleweight division. And yes, you see the thumbnail, okay? You see the title. Hear me out, bro. I feel like Sean Strickland is very underrated in this conversation. When it comes to who can beat Khamzat Chimaev, right? I'm pretty sure we're all in agreement here that Nasruddin Imavov is not the guy. And I feel bad for him because he's really good. But I just think, like, him versus DDP would have been way more competitive. I think him versus Chimaev, I just feel like he's going to get taken down and submitted in the first round. That's just the way it is. I'm just the messenger. That's just the way it is. Sean Strickland, I feel like, does not get brought up in this conversation of who can beat Khamzat Chimaev. I feel like it's Rainier Dorita or Anthony Hernandez. And now Rainier Derrida is gone from that conversation because of the Brendan Allen fight. Listen, kid, there's no shame in losing Brendan Allen, but this guy fucking chinned him, okay? Sean Strickland chinned him, okay? And Sean Strickland has very, very underrated grappling, and I feel like nobody brings it up in this conversation. They just point to the fact, and again, this is one where MMA math would make you be like, dude, this guy has no chance against Chimaev, right? He lost to DDP twice. DDP just got destroyed by Chimaev. When you look at the matchup of Strickland versus Chimaev, Sean Strickland, I feel like he is delusional in some ways, but sometimes he's extremely honest. He said that Rainier Derrida in grappling just quits all the time in training and just lays on his back doing submissions. We found out that was the truth. He says that he says all this other stuff in training. He was like, bro, I saw Jamal Hill in training. I knew Pereira was going to smoke him. All this stuff. I can strike well with Alex Pereira, and then he chins me in training. Basically true. All this other stuff. You can look at all these other examples that he's brought up over the years and things that he said. He always has been like, bro, I promise you I can out-grapple Chimaev after that first round. I promise you Chimaev does not want to grapple with me. He dead ass just likes bullying other people that can't grapple. I want to see it. I want to fucking see it. I feel like Anthony Hernandez is the main pick of who could beat Chimaev out of all the top 5 and top 6 guys. But I think Sean Strickland has a very underrated chance. He has crazy 5-round cardio. We know he can do it in his sleep. We know he could show up on a short notice or whatever. It's not a conversation with Chimaev. And this is the reason I'm saying this. It's not a conversation anymore of who can stop Chimaev's takedowns. I don't think anyone can stop Chimaev's takedowns. There is not a single UFC fighter, and even Kamaru Usman, the one that people glaze so much, got taken down every single round of their fight, right? It is not a matter of who can stop the wrestling of Chimaev, who can grapple with Chimaev on the ground. You're going to have to admit that you're going to get taken down at some point, right? That's it. That's it, right? So who has the best chance? I think straight wrestling ability and BJJ ability in terms of scrambling, defense, offense, cardio, having a striking advantage on the feet in the boxing. Strickland has as good a chance as anyone else, if not a better chance than basically everyone else at middleweight except for Anthony Hernandez, because Hernandez has, like, I would say, just more offensive wrestling. He pushes the pace a little bit higher. He's not as low output as Sean Strickland on the feet. He's going to be getting in Chimaev's face, threatening submissions, making him work. But we've seen that DDP versus Strickland, right? He takes him down, Strickland gets straight back up. Right? DDP grapples Whitaker and Adesanya and these other guys. He destroys them. He submits them. Right? But against Strickland, he couldn't use it at all. He basically just abandoned trying to do it in the second fight whatsoever. And it became way less competitive because he was able to just use his striking. And that's how he won, right? But Strickland's grappling, I feel like, has been proven again and again and again in glimpses. And I think this would be the fight where we get to see how good he actually is. Because what everyone is saying about Strickland is basically he can really fucking wrestle. He can take down Ankalaev. He can do all this shit. I want to see this guy grapple with Chimaev. I feel like he has a very sneaky chance to be a harder fight for Khamzat than DDP. I feel like he deadass does way better than DDP against Khamzat. I'd honestly pick it. And the thing about Strickland as well, he's underrated generally right now. He's kind of like Gaethje. He wins one fight, people glaze the fuck out of him. He loses one fight, people are literally saying, yo, RoboCop beats this guy or whatever. I would pick Sean Strickland right now to beat Brendan Allen, again, beat Rainier Derrida, beat Nasruddin Imavov, again, he already beat him as well. Maybe even Hernandez in a 5-round fight. I think in a 3-round fight, Hernandez could maybe pull it off on damage and just output. I think in a 5-rounder, I don't know, like that to me is the closest fight. Strickland, Hernandez, and therefore I feel like Strickland has the best chance against Chimaev. Outside of Hernandez, nobody gives him any credit, but I think he actually has a sneaky good chance. I want to see that fight eventually. All right, next one to talk about in the light heavyweight division. This is a little bit more obvious. I feel like this is the hardcore pick right now, dude. Azamat Murzakanov, man. Dude, this guy gets in there, man. He's got a 5-star rating, dude. Murzakanov's dangerous as fuck. Like, that's just it, man. He's obviously he's off the juice now. I don't know how he was ever on the juice. He literally looks like he's made of fucking jello, but Azamat is dangerous, dude. He's a quick southpaw with big power, good boxing, patient on the feet. He can mix in the grappling if he needs to. He makes good decisions in the fight. I think of him as like a more compact and dangerous version of Ankalaev. He's like a little bit, he's a better version of Khalil Roundtree, but more of a boxer. That's what I think. I think this guy's better than Khalil Roundtree by a decent amount, honestly. And I think he's like a more compact and powerful version of Ankalaev, but without the physical attributes of Ankalaev. Like Ankalaev, he has similar reach and frame to Alex Pereira. That's going to help him out. But Mozarkanov, I would say he's a little bit quicker. I would say he hits harder for sure. He's knocking people out with one shot. And we've seen that he's a little bit more aggressive. And I think that short stature kind of helps him duck under punches and land overhands, which I love bombing fucking overhands. You guys know me. You know I love to bomb overhands. And it definitely does help when the guy is a little bit taller and they pull back. So I could see, based on the Khalil fight and based on that first Ankalaev fight, where we've seen southpaws with big power be able to exploit some of the boxing defense weaknesses of Pereira, where he just backs up with his arms out and, you know, chin up. We've seen him get kind of caught and tagged up a little bit by southpaw. So I feel like when you look at the rest of the division, I think Mozarkanov has a very good style to potentially catch Alex Pereira and knock him out. I don't think he'll get a title shot. I don't think he'll get to fight Pereira in his career. I think Alex will probably fight one more time at light heavyweight, or just go straight up to heavyweight, and the belt will be like Olberg versus Yuri. I'll talk about that in another video, but I still think Mozarkanov is a dangerous, sneaky future champion type fighter. You know, the professional, that's what they call this kid, and it's for a reason. He's fucking dangerous, right? Last one to talk about, heavyweight division. This is the dude. Waldo Cortez Acosta is coming, boys. All right, listen, I'm a fucking genius, okay? I've gone up and down with this fucking blob. Obviously, you guys know I don't like this guy, but there's a video that Prime 2023 Bedtime made saying Waldo Cortez Acosta will be a future champion and a future top contender at 265. That is happening right now. We are living in the timeline where Waldo Cortez Acosta is one fight away from a title shot. And why do I feel like he doesn't really get brought up in the... I guess I know why, because he's a blob and he just looks goofy and no one really likes him. But you just have to be honest. You just have to be fucking objective. This is the biggest hear me out prophecy of all time. But in 2023, I predicted the title run, and we're watching it unfold live. And these are just objective facts about Waldo Cortez Acosta. You take away the name, you take away the belly, you take away the emotes, you take away this decision win over Andrei Arlovsky. These are the facts about this up-and-coming heavyweight contender in a division with Cyril Gane and Tom Aspinall at the top. He has fast hands, okay? He has the blob jiggle physics, okay? He's actually showed a good chin. He fought Sergey Pavlovich. He's fought a couple of other big guys and shown pretty good durability. He can kind of, if he gets tagged or something, he kind of emotes his way out of it and makes it look less bad. He does have good durability. He does have big power. He's knocking people out. He's slimed out fucking Ante Delija. Crazy fight over the weekend. And he actually knows how to move around and box. Like, you can say what you want about this guy. He actually is quick. He can kind of fucking box. He has a good chin. And he has, you know, the intangible of emoting, which definitely helps you win in MMA in 2025. You need to be out there emoting. You need to be out there letting the judges know, basically, that you're running shit. And we've seen him deal with some lighter man skill grappling and employ grappling on blobs like Robelis Despain and defend grappling from fucking Ryan Spann and all these guys. So I think that Waldo Cortez Acosta, do we like him? No. Do we hate this guy? Do we want to see him change? Low key, yes. But you can't deny this guy has every tool needed to be a serious contender for the belt. And bro, the emotes I wrote down here. He was roaring like a fucking ogre in the Apex, dude. When Delija eye poked him, he was like, oh, he was fucking roaring, bro. And then boom, turns the switch, chins him. I think that Waldo Cortez Acosta has a very underrated chance to fluke a win over Tom Aspinall or Cyril Gane for the heavyweight title. And he's my pick here in the heavyweight division. Let me know down below, though, who do you think is an underrated nightmare matchup for the champion of their division? Who do you feel like nobody brings up when it comes to someone that could beat the champion in the future? Let me know in the comments down below if you agree, if you disagree. Let me know down below as well. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA. And I will see you guys with my crafty hat in the next video, man. Goodbye.